Hey, what's happening, everybody? Subes here. For those of you who may have been paying attention in the Google Plus community and on Facebook, you may have noticed that there's a new studio here at spnt.tv. I moved from the second floor bedroom that was about 8 feet by 8 feet. Super hot, no ventilation whatsoever. And after much convincing from my wife, I was able to move the studio down here to our basement. Now, a lot of you have asked for pictures. I decided to go one better and record a video showing all of the new features of the new studio, as well as some of the new equipment that I've purchased over the last couple of weeks to really upgrade what's going on here with my podcasts. Let's take a look. So, a couple of things about this studio is this used to be my kids' playroom. As you can see, we've got toys still here in the playroom, and so I am taking up. They've outgrown the basement, to be honest. They're 7 years old, so they spend most of their time now playing video games or playing outside and whatnot. You may notice that half the wall is green, half the wall is blue. We decided to paint the background of the set the same color as the studio that was upstairs, and I don't know, we may eventually go and paint the rest of the room, but for right now this really works for what we're doing here with the podcast. I've got my old computer and my streaming PC there on top of the old entertainment center, as well as an external hard drive there on top. Got some lights, and I guess I can show what it looks like all lit up. I'll turn on this first light here, hanging from the drop from the vent in the ceiling. So there's that. I'm actually using webcam Logitech C920, as you can see here, on a tripod. 2 legs on the desk and 1 here on the floor. On my daughter's easel, I've got an LED light resting on top, which if I turn that on, you can see now that's lit up. Brand new shelf with some other, some old gear, some tapes from my college radio days in here. My old Mackie 802 VLZ3 is inside here. And here's a studio monitor that I may end up plugging in here in the studio. As you can see right now, I'm using, has what my friends Ray Ortega would call my 90s stereo. That's right, it was from the 90s. I'm proud of that thing. But I do have a monitor that I may eventually bust out and use in the future. And here's a boom mic that I may. It's pretty dusty. Should probably dust that off before I show it off. Ooh, that's pretty gross. Shows how much I use it. But yeah, a shotgun mic, not a boom mic, a shotgun mic that I could use if I wanted to for some of my other videos. That's there. The shelf itself was like 30 bucks at Lowe's. Not bad. Not bad at all. You can see here with the old TV, we used to have a big TV down here. We had it mounted to the wall. That's now upstairs. Here's another light that we used to fill the set. You may see here 3 spools of network cable. We literally took, with the help of my father, the router and cable modem are upstairs in that second story old studio where I was previously recording. And so the only way to get the network cable down here is to drop it. We had to go up from the old studio up through the attic and then down along the laundry chute, where we fed it through. It comes through this hole here in the corner. It goes along the wall. I've got one network cable going to this laptop here. The other 2 going around and going along the wall up to those 2 PCs here, right here. Obviously, we got the new Inside the Jungle banner that we got for our live show at Lachey's a couple weeks ago, as well as some cool Bengals gear we got hanging on the wall. And as homage to my old show, Who Day Weekly, thought I'd throw that in there as well in the background. A lot of people can't see it. As far as more lighting goes, I've got some Super LED lights that if I turn these on here, you can see that the red is lit up underneath the shelf, which I've got taped up along the shelf there. And then underneath my rack mount here, more lights that kind of light up the shot. Let's talk about some of the new equipment that I got for the studio. The Mackie 802 VLZ4. This allows me to have two mix minuses because of the two auxiliary channels, so that's pretty nice. It's obviously a 14-channel mixer, 6 microphone inputs, and 8 additional other channel inputs. Got my streaming computer on channel 7/8. Got the laptop here on channel, I guess I could show the above, on channel 9 and 10. This is my guest callers when they call into the show on the laptop over here. Okay, some of the other equipment, obviously the rack mount is new. Got a Behringer MDX 4600 compressor here on the top shelf. This top rack, I should say. This channel here is for my microphone. Right here, my Sennheiser E835 mic. Probably going to be upgrading here in the next month or two to either a Heil PR40 or a Electro Voice RE320. Can't decide yet what I'm going to do. But right now, the Sennheiser E835 works pretty good for what I'm doing here in the studio, as well as an HB1 boom from Heil. That's a good boom as well. Here on channel 2 of the compressor limiter gate, I've got my streaming computer, and then here on channel 3 of the gate, I've got the laptop, which takes the phone calls via Skype. So those two channels are also hooked up to the compressor, along with my microphone, my Sennheiser E835. Then underneath the compressor limiter gate, I've got my PowerPlay 8-channel headphone amp. Why did I get an 8-channel headphone amp? Well, when I did my live show at Lachey's, there was the potential that we could have 5 or 6 people on the broadcast, so I figured, you know what, let's just get an 8-channel headphone amp just to be safe, because you never know how many people you might have on a show. And now with the more space here in the basement, that actually could happen. Now that I have a little bit more room, and we might be able to have some bigger shows with more people in here, so that's kind of cool as well. Got the new Sony MDR 7506 headphones. These are brand new as well. Really like how they sound. They're very comfortable to wear, especially when you're editing for long periods of time. I think that's it. I put the shelf up, obviously, with some footballs to make it look pretty cool. And yeah, there's my cool stereo from the 90s that Ray Ortega is a big fan of, as well as my autographed football from the only Hall of Famer in Bengals history, Anthony Munoz. He is in there in the shot as well. All right, so now you're looking at the finished product. This is what the studio looks like when I'm broadcasting on Wednesday nights for Inside the Jungle. Got my lights, got my cool LED red lights lit up behind me with the set. You can't see a whole lot of cables. Obviously, I would be wearing these if I was doing the show. So yeah, this is the finished product. This is what it looks like. I've got a key light. If you remember the clamp light hanging from the drop in the ceiling from the vent, with a 60-watt bulb inside the clamp light. I've also got behind me, I used to actually, with the hanging light in front of me, I used to use a 100-watt bulb, but I found that it washed me out a little too much. I tried moving it in different areas, and I couldn't really get it to work the way I wanted to. It didn't look that great. That's probably the one aspect of this studio that I'm not 100% comfortable with, and that's the lighting. So, still a work in progress. I've got the clamp light in front of me, directly in front of me, a 60-watt bulb. Behind me, hanging on the old TV mount, was a 100-watt bulb inside the clamp light. And of course, you remember the LED light that's resting on top of my daughter's art easel. That's about 45 degree angle off to my right, which kind of fills in my face and eliminates some of the shadows. I still have a microphone shadow on my face here, which you can see. Still trying to figure out how to get rid of that. But all in all, the lighting, again, still a work in progress, but I'm pretty happy about it. I didn't mention some of the other equipment that I'm using. The Tascam DR05. That's not an upgrade. I've still been using that since day one. And of course, I've got my laptop here, which will plug into channel 13, 14 on the mixer, which I use Boss Jock to play my carts, play my sound effects and music and that sort of thing. That's my iPad as well. So that is the SPNT upgraded Studio 3.0. Would love to hear your feedback. If you have questions about the studio, how I did certain things, you can always email me, feedback@spnt.tv. I would be happy to help answer any of those questions. Believe me, I still have questions of my own as well. But this is the studio for right now. Again, might upgrade the microphone here in a couple months. We'll see. But other than that, I'm pretty satisfied, and I think it looks pretty good on camera as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you around. Bye.